Saturday the 1st of July and welcome to our Saturday evening news programme. It's just past 6 o'clock and in the news this week, crowds gathered at Poundbury on Tuesday this week as King Charles and Queen Camilla made a visit there to mark the completion of Queen Mother Square. A local brass band welcomed the arrival of the King and Queen, who unveiled a plaque of commemoration at the Royal Pavilion, as well as officially opening the Duke of Edinburgh Garden, in which a bronze bust of the late Duke now resides. Also this week, work began on enhancing Radipole Park and Gardens. A new refreshment kiosk, play area, Century Garden and toilet facilities are just some of the enhancements being made to one of Weymouth's hidden gems, as construction work starts at site in the popular park. Weymouth Town Council, working with Friends of Radipole Park and Gardens, received just over £1 million to redevelop and make improvements to Radipole Park and Gardens from the National Lottery Heritage Fund. Located off Radipole Park Drive and running alongside the RSPB Swanree Nature Reserve, a key feature of the revamped park will be to highlight its hidden heritage through interpretation boards and activities that will make it fun and engaging for all ages to explore. Construction work is taking place from now until mid-December, during which time access to some parts of the park will need to be restricted, including the existing play area. This is so that contractors Ground Control Limited can carry out the huge schedule of works, which will lead to multiple improvements for people to enjoy for many years to come. The amenity grass area at the north of the park and the formal gardens at the south, along with the tennis club and small car park, will remain open to the public throughout. Other enhancements include a new path across the amenity grass area, relocated and resurfaced multi-use games area, interpretation boards showing the park's history, a new area for playing Patang, new outdoor table tennis tables and orientation course. There will still be some activities taking place in the park over the summer and the autumn while work is carried out, followed by an official park opening and full programme of activities and events for 2024. Further details will be released as the project develops. Now, the Environment Agency has warned of the threat of an invasive Pacific pink salmon and urged anglers to report catches or sightings of this invasive pink salmon, which is expected to appear in the UK waters this year. In 2019 and 2021, there were numerous sightings of invasive pink salmon in UK waters, and with pink salmon having a fixed 2-year life cycle and generally spawning in the summer, it is highly likely they will appear again in rivers this year. The arrival of the pink salmon raises potential concerns to other native species, including wild Atlantic salmon. Atlantic salmon are threatened, with numbers of the species falling dramatically due to various pressures. The invasive pink salmon is seen as an additional threat to their survival. Pink salmon, and I'm not going to try and say the Latin name, originate from the northern Pacific Ocean and can be identified by large black oval spots on its tail, a very dark mouth and tongue, and they have much smaller scales than the Atlantic salmon. Simon Toms from the National Fisheries Management at the Environment Agency said, the Environment Agency teams are working hard to contain and control invasive non-native species so that native fish ecosystems and other wildlife are not reduced from the damage they pose. That is why it's crucial that the public understand this immediate risk and report the capture or sightings of all pink salmon to us, whether that be through our new reporting tool or to the Environment Agency's national hotline. Fisheries managers, anglers, net fishers and members of the public are requested to report any sightings to the hotline by calling 0800 80 70 60. That's 0800 80 70 60. And you can also go onto the Environment Agency website and search for their reporting tool. There is a guidance fact sheet available also on the Environment Agency website if anyone wants to pop along there and have a read. Now, officers investigating a report of a robbery on Weymouth seafront have made an arrest. Dorset Police received a report from a third party that sometime between 5 o'clock and 7 on Friday the 26th of May and 7 a.m. on Saturday the 27th of May, a man was assaulted near the Jubilee Clock Tower on the Esplanade and items were allegedly stolen from him. The victim sustained head injury and as a result of the incident, which required hospital treatment. Following inquiries, a 35-year-old man from Somerset was arrested on suspicion of robbery and he's been released on police bail as further investigations continue. Now, round 4 of the Household Support Fund will reopen for applications from 10 a.m. this coming Tuesday, the 4th of July. This is for low-income households in the Dorset Council area. The support will be in the form of supermarket vouchers. Citizens Advice will be allocating this fund on behalf of Dorset Council, and vouchers will be issued to residents who meet the eligibility criteria within 6 to 8 weeks. Dorset Council households will be able to apply if they have an annual household net income of less than £30,000 and savings of less than £16,000, and they have not applied for a previous household support fund payment within the last 6 months. Calculations for the annual net income should not include things such as personal independence payments, disability living allowance, attendance allowance, carers allowance, or child benefit. All of those things are excluded from your income, and applications are limited to 1 per household. If you do miss the chance to apply this time, there'll be a further chance to apply when a new window opens on the 2nd of August at 10 a.m. Now, if anyone needs help in completing a form, they can telephone Dorset Council's customer services on 01305 221 000. That's 01305 221 000, and they can help you complete those forms. Or you can visit one of the customer access points, and for instance in Weymouth there is one at the Weymouth Main Library. Now, also from Dorset Council, help for residents, communities and businesses in Dorset to reduce energy use and tackle rising costs will continue, according to a new report from Dorset Council. Hot on the heels of the Big Green Week and national campaigns celebrating climate action, Dorset Council has published a draft report which looks at the progress it is making towards the climate and nature goals. One of the achievements highlighted in the report is the continuation of the Council's 2 flagship energy savings programmes, the Healthy Homes Dorset and the Low Carbon Dorset. These programmes, which are a central part of Dorset Council's plan to tackle emissions in the county, have secured extra funding, and residents and organisations across Dorset Council area will continue to get help to save energy in their homes and buildings. The Healthy Homes Dorset programme gives free energy advice and helps homeowners and tenants in Dorset install wall and loft insulation and fit low energy heating systems. Last year, over 600 homes in Dorset benefited from the support, the energy savings and the energy savings it brings. Support from the Low Carbon Dorset programme, on the other hand, is aimed at helping organisations rather than households. Through this programme, community groups, charities and businesses can get free advice and grants to help tackle emissions and rising energy costs. Excuse me. Councillor Ray Bryan, who's the Dorset Council portfolio holder for Highways, Travel and Environment, said, at a time when energy and living costs are so high, support from programmes like Low Carbon Dorset and Healthy Homes Dorset is more valuable than ever. I'm thrilled that we will now be able to help even more businesses and homes in Dorset save energy and money. More than 500 organisations in Dorset have already received support from Low Carbon Dorset to improve the efficiency of their buildings and install renewable energy systems. New fundings for the programmes comes from a mixture of government funds, including the Shared Prosperity Fund, the replacement for the old EU funding, the Home Upgrade Grant, the Rural England Prosperity Fund, and also from Dorset Council itself. Residents looking to access support should visit the Healthy Homes Dorset website. You can search for that on Google, Healthy Homes Dorset, or free phone 0300 003 7023. That's 0300 003 7023. Organisations, including voluntary and community groups and businesses, can apply for support visiting the Low Carbon Dorset website. So again, search for Low Carbon Dorset on Google and you will find those pages and information. Now, Dorset Council is strengthening the help it gives to young carers. Firstly, the council wants to identify all young carers in the county and assess the impact of caring has on those young people. A young carer is a child or young person aged 18 or under who cares for a friend or family member who, due to illness, disability, mental health problems or addiction, cannot cope without their support. the 2021 census identified that 1.2% of 5 to 17-year-old population are unpaid carers, representing around 590 children and young people in Dorset. Currently, Dorset Council only has registered and knows about 285 young carers. So 590 people said that they were young carers or relied on young carers in the last census, but only 285 are known about by Dorset Council. Now, young carers are more likely to suffer with poor physical and mental health. They could also find it difficult to fully participate in their education. Finding time for homework and revision can be difficult. Attendance at school can also be affected by their caring role. Now, recognising young carers remains a high priority for the Council. It is encouraging all colleagues in schools and adult social care and health to think young carer and ask questions about who is providing care for the friend or family member. Another pledge, which is also being made across the UK, is to involve the young carers in the decision making for the cared for person. Young carers are often very knowledgeable about the person they are caring for and responsible for administrating medication and care plans. They often feel excluded when these assessments are carried out. And some Dorset young carers made a short film about this, which is available on the Dorset Council website. Other areas that the Council will improve for young carers is the health and wellbeing support they receive, supporting attendance to education and training, and continued support into adulthood as part of the Birth to Settled Adulthood programme. Now, Dorset Council's People and Health Overview Committee is going to consider this report and the details of these pledges, and the report can be found on the Dorset Council website. Now, South West Railways customers have been advised to check their journeys before travelling this week during the nationwide ASLEF industrial action, which starts on Monday the 3rd of July and runs through to Saturday the 8th of July. Members of the ASLEF union, representing train drivers at 16 train operating companies, including South Western Railways, have been instructed not to book on for overtime or volunteer to work on rest days. All train operators rely on a certain amount of overtime and rest day working to operate their normal timetable, and this varies by location and time of year. While the majority of services will run to help avoid short notice amendments and cancellations and to provide greater certainty for customers, South West Railways will operate an amended timetable throughout this industrial reaction. Typically, services will usually be reduced to hourly in off-peak periods, with a small number of cancellations during morning and evening peaks. Some first and last trains may also be cancelled. Services are likely to be busier than usual throughout the days affected by the industrial action, and of course Wimbledon starts this week as well, so customers heading to the first week of Wimbledon should expect services to be especially busy and should allow extra time for their journeys. Now, last weekend, a woman was stung by what was thought to be a jellyfish in Weymouth Bay. Coast Guards were called to the scene on the afternoon of Sunday, June the 25th, to assist paramedics in helping a woman at the beach. A spokesman from White Coast Guard rescue team said the woman was treated and evacuated from the beach to a waiting ambulance. They went on to say, "We were tasked at 1612 to assist South West Ambulance Service NHS Foundation Trust with a medical incident after a female was stung by what was thought to be a jellyfish. Once she had been treated by paramedics, she was evacuated from the beach to a waiting ambulance. The NHS advises anyone who thinks that they've been stung by a jellyfish to ask a lifeguard or someone with first aid training for help." That's if they're available, of course. If help is not available, it advises people to rinse the affected area with seawater, not fresh water, with seawater, salt water. Remove any spines, if there are spines, from the skin using tweezers or the edge of a bank card by scraping. Soak the area in very warm water, basically as hot as can be tolerated, for at least 30 minutes. Use hot flannels or towels if you cannot soak it, and then take painkillers like paracetamol or ibuprofen. And of course, if you become very unwell, then you should seek medical advice, either by going to minor injuries or A&E, or calling 999, obviously, if anybody is seriously ill and things like their breathing is affected. Now, millions of people can save money on everyday travel to work and make the most of affordable days out this summer, as the Get Around for £2 scheme is extended yet again for another 4 months, supporting households with the cost of living while growing the economy. The £2 bus fare cap, previously due to come to an end on the 30th of June, will now continue to the 31st of October, helping passengers save a third off the price of an average ticket. The offer will be available for single bus tickets on over 5,000 routes in England outside London, helping people get to work, see loved ones, access medical appointments and travel to holiday hotspots for less. The scheme will then continue at £2.50 for another year until November 2024, thanks to £200 million worth of funding from the government to help people save money on travelling while growing the economy. The move is an essential part of the government's Help for Households initiative to support everyone through the increased cost of living, and will particularly benefit those on lower incomes who take nearly 3 times as many bus trips than those on higher incomes. So that's good news. Low cost bus fares, £2 extended through to the end of October, and then they've just got to £2.50 for a further year. Now, a new restaurant is opening this month on the site of the former Boat That Rocks in Portland Marina. The Boat That Rocks closed back in November 2022. It will open under the name Salt and will be operated by Boat Folk Bars Limited. The new restaurant will offer a seasonal menu and be open all day, and at weekends will also have a pop-up pizza truck available as well. The decor has been put together with a nautical theme. The exact opening date is not known yet, but is expected to be in the early part of this month. And finally, in the headlines this week, the Days of Steam were revived as the locomotive Braunton left Weymouth railway station on Tuesday evening this week on its way back to London. Onlookers admired the magnificent engine at both Weymouth train station and as she passed through Dorchester South. 21C146 Braunton is a Southern Railway West Country Class 4 6-2 Pacific locomotive. The excursion, run by Steam Dreams, left London Victoria Station at 8:30 a.m, arriving at Yeovil Junction at 2:17 p.m, and then journeyed on to Weymouth. Day trippers aboard the train were given the time to explore Weymouth for a short time. She left Weymouth at 6:37 p.m. on the way back to the capital. Fares for the journey, which had a luxury Pullman-style dining experience and first-class carriages, began at £165. Braunton carries the side number 34046 and entered service in November 1946. Many members of this class were named after towns on or near the Southern Railway system in the west of England. It was one of a class of 110 locomotives, numbered 34001 to 34110. She was withdrawn from service in October 1965 and was then restored and put back into service in July 2007, and is just one of a number of trains each year that do these special excursions to Weymouth, and lots of people are very enjoy them, and they're very popular, so we often see those travelling down the line to Weymouth and parked up in Weymouth Station. Now that's the end of the headlines in this week's programme. Now, nearly 70,000 children live with almost 55,000 foster families across the UK each year. This is nearly 3/4 of over 98,000 children in care away from home on any one day in the UK. Every year, thousands of new foster families are needed. Around 30,000 more children come into care over the course of each 12 months, with a similar number leaving the care system to return home, move in with another family member, live with new adoptive parents, become subject to a special guardianship or residence order, or move on into adult life. There is always a shortage of foster carers in the UK. Today we're sharing with you an introduction to fostering in Dorset from Dorset Council. It's a short video. It's called, or the title is, Why We Foster, and it talks to foster parents about why they foster, and released by Dorset Council, and of course the title speaks for itself, Why We Foster.
I'm a foster carer for Dorset, and my parents were both foster carers, and that's why I wanted to do it.
I'm a foster carer and I have been for probably about 3 years now.
Well, Teresa and I have been foster carers now for 10 years, and we've had over 40 children come through our doors. My own daughter is autistic, and I think it's boosted her confidence and given her a sense of worth, if you like. But this has been so beneficial for our daughter because we learnt so much about autism, ADHD. It's just to help the whole family.
Overwhelmingly, foster carers have said to me, it's really great the sense of reward you get when you see a young person moving on and they're in such a much better position than when they first came to your house.
We welcome applications from people right across the community. You can foster from 18 years old and there's no upper age limit as long as you're healthy. You can be a single carer, you don't have to be a parent, you can be in a same-sex relationship, you don't have to own your own property, you can rent a property, and as long as you've got a spare bedroom, then please.
I don't think anybody should think, oh well, I've got this and I possibly couldn't do that. They'd not consider me. I have a long-standing health condition, but that hasn't affected me fostering as such. You've got a child social worker who is there for the child. You've got a supervising social worker that's there for us as a family. And then you've got extensive training.
It's broken my heart a few times. It can be really distressing and it can be really upsetting, but on the whole, the family's extended and you see these young children, and then you form these relationships. The good bits outweigh the bad bits 100 to 1 easily.
I do love it. Yeah, I really love it. I can't imagine doing anything else now.
If you took fostering away from me tomorrow, it would be like taking a limb off my body.
We're always in need of foster carers, in need of people that are able to offer a child a home.
It's a fantastic opportunity to really help some of our young people who have really struggled. We want them to grow up in a safe, lovely, well cared for home where they're going to make a success of things.
There we go, that's a little bit about why people foster, and it's obviously a very valuable thing to do and does give some young people at a difficult time in their life some stability and help for a while. Now, Dorset Council have a specific website for those interested in fostering. It answers many of the questions that you might have, gives all the contact numbers and everything, talks about the training on offer, etc. And it is called www.fosterwithdorsetcouncil.com. Nice and easy, www.fosterwithdorsetcouncil.com. Now, following on from last year's successful event, Home of Hillforts and Henges is back in 2023, taking place in Dorchester from the 28th to the 30th of July. Celebrating a landscape rich in earthworks and the people that have lived there for over 6,000 years, activities will again take place at multiple locations across the town. A great opportunity to find out more about Dorchester's Neolithic, Bronze and Iron Age history. There will be lectures, guided walks and other activities. The event concludes with an epic day of discovery and fun at Maunbury Rings with Hengefest on Sunday the 30th of July. It's a free family day out inside the ancient monument, as well as trade stands, local food and live music. There will be a pebble labyrinth, bushcraft, living history displays, nature crafts and natural therapies. Something for everyone to enjoy. Now, if you haven't heard of Hengefest before, or you've not been along to it, then we're going to share with you the video from last year's Hengefest, remembering that this year is on the 30th of July in Dorchester, but there are activities from the 28th through to the 30th of July, and it finishes with this free event at Maunbury Rings on the 30th of July. So here is Hengefest 2022.
My name's Matilda and I'm from Dorchester Town Council. Today we come to Hengefest, which is the first Hengefest that we've ever had in Dorchester, and it's a new event that celebrates what an amazing space we have here at Maunbury Rings.
There's a lot of historic atmosphere here, and I think that is really good to teach young children about what used to be here a few years ago, or 100 years ago, or 1,000 years ago.
Started off as a Neolithic henge, So it's a bit like Stonehenge, but it was an earthen henge. And it was a really sacred space. So that's why we've got things like yoga and meditation happening here. And then the Romans came, took over Dorchester and made it into an amphitheatre, which is why we've got some Romans here today as well. But we are celebrating what a beautiful space it is to be, and its amazing history as well.
Dorchester's great. There's lots of free things to do for families, lots of activities in Manbury Rings where you can get to see, I suppose, the history of the town but have modern day fun.
You can dig for coins, you can try and be a Roman, you can do a pebble labyrinth. There's lots of different activities, different things that you'd normally see at family fun days. Part of my job is to try and celebrate Dorchester's heritage and get more people excited about it. So it's something we really want to do more of as well.
My name is Shay O'Connell and I'm from Wessex Wilderness Skills, and we are over there, based over there under the trees, and we are teaching people how to do basket weaving and fire lighting by natural tinders and our knife skills.
Well, this is Dorset Pottery. It's a lockdown company that was formed a couple of years ago. The event has been very successful, lots of lovely atmosphere with the people, a lot of local people but also a lot of tourists, which is quite nice to involve it into the Dorset community of atmosphere, of relaxation. Hopefully will benefit from people relaxed environment to buy pottery.
Well, I'm just about to have a lovely falafel wrap from Hamza's, which is a local place in Dorchester.
Well, my name is Hamza, and I've been doing falafels today. Falafels Magic. It's just there, the black stall. And it's been a great fun day actually today. Really good. The weather helped a lot, and a lot of nice people, nice crowd. They are based when they are cooked fresh. Yeah, best falafels are served fresh. Cut your salad, fry your falafels, and give it to your customer, and they will love it.
It's really nice to be able to just join in and so many things, so many activities for the children.
We're very lucky where we live, and to come to things like this. But I think it's just to continue really, and the educational elements of it really, I call them micro experiences. It's just wonderful for kids, finding coins, digging for coins, learning about sword fighting
and Romans and Vikings
and things like that. So
nature.
Yeah, more of it, please.
Yeah.
would be fantastic.
There we go, that's just a look at Henge Fest from last year, 2022, and of course this year's will be on the 30th of July at Manbury Rings. Now it's that time in the programme where we go over to regular contributor Andrew Wright for this week's film review and preview.
Welcome to White Regis TV Film Review and Preview, I'm Andrew Wright. This week, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny released in cinemas as the fifth and final installment of the Indiana Jones franchise. The film stars Harrison Ford in his final portrayal as his iconic adventurer Indiana Jones, alongside John Rhys Davies, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Antonio Banderas, Boyd Holbrook and Mads Mikkelsen. The film revolves around Indy and his estranged goddaughter, trying to locate an ancient artifact that Indy found during World War II in order to stop a Nazi scientist from acquiring it and changing the past. The film is the only film in the franchise not written by George Lucas or directed by Steven Spielberg. Instead, those duties were passed off to director James Mangold, who famously directed 2017's Logan and 2019's Ford v Ferrari, also known in the UK as Le Mans 66. Currently, the film is tracking to struggle at the weekend box office due to a perceived lack of interest from under-30s, as well as the divisive fan reaction to the fourth film, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And currently the film has opened to divisive reviews from critics, with only 66% positive reviews. The film is currently in cinemas, ours, courtesy of Disney. As far as I know, the franchise will not be explored any further. There were plans to do another young indie sort of project, but that was cancelled in favour of the studio focusing on Star Wars. This week, the trailer for Blumhouse's supernatural horror film Five Nights at Freddy's was released. The film stars Josh Hutcherson, Elizabeth Lale, and Matthew Lillard, and the film revolves around a troubled security guard who accepts a nighttime job at a once successful abandoned family entertainment centre where he discovers its 4 animatronic mascots move and kill anyone that is still there after midnight. The film is based on the video game franchise of the same name and is in cinemas this Halloween season. Now, I did watch the trailer, and I'm a Blumhouse fan, so I will check it out at some point, and it does look good. Well, it looks decent. So I will check it out at the right time. In other news, a potential American actors strike could be coming any day now on the heels of the writers' strike, with a lot of high-profile actors like Jennifer Lawrence signing a letter endorsing the possibility of a strike in light of the union's contract coming up for negotiation. That is a developing story, so for more details please check online. The Flash is also set to potentially a bomb at the box office due to the film open to sort of very split down the middle, 50-50 reviews from critics, but it also doesn't help the competitive market, the troubles with lead actor Ezra Miller that have been in the forefront of the press, as well as the lack of interest from the core DC fans due to the upcoming reboot of the DC universe. Also this week was released a second trailer for Dune Part 2, the sequel to 2021's Dune. And it contained a lot of new footage and showed off the action, so stay tuned for that. That's all I have for this week, but be sure to check back next week where I will be previewing Insidious: The Red Door, the 5th installment in the Insidious franchise, and Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, the 7th installment in the Mission Impossible franchise. Now back to Gary in the studio.
Thank you very much there, Andrew, for that report this week. And we now go over to the Met Office. We're joined this week by Greg Dewhurst with the weekend weather forecast.
Hello there. It's a rather mixed weekend to come across much of the UK, and that is all down to the jet stream. The position of it, well, right across the UK through this weekend, it means low pressure's in charge of our weather. We'll see scattered showers, some longer spells of rain too, and fairly brisk winds for the time of year. But not everywhere we'll see the rain. It will largely stay dry across southern parts of England and Wales. And that's what we have through the rest of Saturday. Yes, it will be quite cloudy, but there'll be some sunny spells developing at times. Showers across northern England, Northern Ireland and Scotland. Some of these could be heavy at times, and also Shetland seeing more persistent spells of heavy rain, which could lead to some localised disruption. A fairly blustery afternoon across the north and the west of the UK in particular. Temperatures 17 to 21 degrees, so feeling a little fresher than it has done of late, but still 23 or 24 across the southeast. UV levels generally high for much of the country despite the cloud, and pollen levels also moderate to high as we continue to be in the peak grass pollen season. Into the evening time on Saturday, we'll continue to see showers across the north and the west of the UK, some of these heavy into the early hours too. Clearest skies across the south and the east of England, and then that persistent rain just edges a little further south into Orkney and the coast of mainland Scotland by the end of the night. The wind's picking up here also, and with the breeze around the coast in particular, and even inland, temperatures holding up generally in double figures to take us into Sunday morning. So a fairly fresh start. There'll be some sunny spells, so a bright start for many, but scattered showers already across northern parts of England up into Northern Ireland and Scotland. Some of these turning heavy as we move through the day, but more in the way of sunshine for parts of the Midlands, southern England, parts of Wales too, into Sunday afternoon. A dry picture here, and that rain also affecting northern Scotland as we move through the day, just edging a little further south. Still some heavier bursts possible, and a blustery day for everyone, particularly across northern Scotland. We could see local gales for a time over the weekend here. And temperatures 17 to 21 degrees, so fairly similar to Saturday, 22, 23 as a high across southeast England, and UV levels also remaining high for all of us, and pollen levels just coming down a little but moderate to high. Highest conditions towards the southeast. Into the evening time on Sunday, we continue to see showers across the north and the west of the UK, clearest skies across the southeast, and looking forward in time, we'll continue to stay fairly unsettled as we move into the beginning of next week. For more information on the weekend's weather and the weekend weather where you are, you can follow us on our social media channels.
Thank you very much there, Greg, for the national weather forecast. We'll just see what the local weather is doing for us in the next few days. And here we go. Doesn't this look very familiar? We've got a bit of sunshine, we've got a bit of cloud, a few drips of rain there sometime in the middle of the week. But generally the temperature's quite reasonable, but hopefully not too hot. That's what it's showing us. So let's keep our fingers crossed that's what we actually get. Moving now to our What's On, coming up at the Weymouth Pavilion tomorrow, Coldplace, a tribute to Coldplay. Then on the 8th and 9th of July, Razzmatazz Theatre School. On the 8th they've got Ignite, and 9th they've got A Kind of Magic. 14th of July, the Jersey Beats. 15th of July, Showaddy Waddy. And 16th of July, Rhythm of the Dance. Tickets can be bought online at weymouthpavilion.com or on the telephone box office 01305 783 225. Knowth Fort, next thing at the Knowth Fort is the 8th and 9th of July, that's next weekend, Victorian weekend. 29th of July, Songs in the Sun, and on the 2nd of August, This Is My Theatre presenting Much Ado About Nothing. Details on events at the Knowth Fort and how to get tickets are at www.knowthfort.org.uk. Arts Reach, the next thing local for us is the 15th of July, Saturday 15th of July, 7:30 at Portersham Village Hall, the Balkan and East European band Paprika. But you can get more information on all Arts Reach's events, and it is constantly changing, and if you subscribe to their postal leaflet, you will have got one in the post this week. They've just sent them out again, but you can see everything online at www.artsreach.co.uk. Now tomorrow, Sunday the 2nd of July, from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. at St Mary's Church, Weymouth Lunchtime Chamber Concert Showcase is on. Students of Weymouth pianist Duncan Honeybourne at the Junior Royal Academy of Music and the Southampton University will perform for you in Weymouth. The programme will include Felix Mendelssohn Piano Trio in D minor, piano trio coached by Duncan Honeybourne of Imogen, Katerina and Sally, and there will be a piano sonata and Duncan's from Agnes, who's one of Duncan's students from Southampton University. There will be light refreshments served in the church cafe from 2:30. That's tomorrow 3 to 4 p.m. at St Mary's Church. Tickets cost £5 and can be bought online from www.ticketsource.co.uk/Weymouth-lunchtime-concerts. Now, early news of a flower festival. I mentioned this last week at Abbotsbury Abbey Farm on the 26th and 28th of August. More details there are on the www.abbeyfarmabbotsbury.co.uk website. Talking of White Regis here, church services tomorrow in White Regis are 9:30, monthly cafe church style service at All Saints Church, and 11 o'clock a non-communion service at St Edmund's Church. Of course, our other programme, our quiz programme, will be on tonight at 7:30, so in about 50 minutes time, looking at the clock. The feed will go live about 7:15 so that people can get, or 7:20 can get comfortable. That's a free family-friendly community quiz, which anybody is welcome to join on any of our streams tonight and every Saturday at 7:30. Now that brings us to the end of another Saturday evening news programme. Of course, we are here and want to hear from you, all your news and stories and events, and you can send them to us at news@whiteregis.tv, news@whiteregis.tv. So that brings us to the end of this week's programme. I hope you have a good weekend and a good week ahead, and I look forward to being back with you next Saturday at 6 o'clock. Good night.